Who could kindly share with me the definition, with us, the definition of disability? There is no perfect answer, so whatever you give is fine. We shall build on that, if there is need to build on it. Thank you. Yes, you can go ahead. Mubakwena. You can go ahead with the definition.
Thank you so much. For me, disability is so it may refer to the barriers in physical ability, mental or intellectual. It may also mean there are barriers in senses. So I can say that generally disability refers to the physical, mental, intellectual, and sensory impairments that a
Unfortunately, you're breaking. We can't get you anymore.
hello.
Hello,
Am
hello.
I?
Now we can, yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. So I was saying disability to me is when a person has barriers in terms of their physical, mental, intellectual, and sensory abilities. So this can be either temporary or they can be permanent. They can also be visible and they can also be non-visible. So I can make an example of physical disability where one has a leg that's amputated. That's a visible uh, disability. For invisible or those that we cannot see is when one has hearing impairment. The person may have hearing impairment. We cannot see that, but what we would see or hear is when a person actually describes themselves that I cannot hear you. This can be seen through the use of sign language or the notion with their head or some other form of facial expression. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Perfect, perfect definition. So disability includes intellectual, as we have had, developmental, invisible, physical, mental impairments, which hinder the full and effective participation in society on an equal basis with others, that is, people who are living with disabilities. Then
When they decide to attack, for the what the red cells and white cells are fighting within your body. The you go back to biology. I don't want to go back to biology. It's a long story, but the whole thing is you can't really tell what exactly is going to happen the next day. Like my scenario, mine was so bad. It started with bleeding. I started bleeding for so long. As it was stopping, I got an allergy which covered my face, the whole body, the whole face. Not the whole body, the whole face. So it really attacks us differently. The inflammation and the flares they're talking about, they attack us differently. You find the fingers are fine, but the neck is not. My neck at one time wasn't turning. I wasn't eating. It's all about lupus. So I can't explain it so well to people in the gathering. I swear I can't. I just understand it in my own way, somehow, somewhere. Thank you. Hope I've answered you. If I've not, I'm sorry, but that's what I can.
Thank you very much. I think that was perfect. Maybe just of people who said lupus is one of the 80 plus autoimmune diseases that causes the body's immunity to attack healthy cells within the patient's body, which then causes inflammation and damage to the system of the body and body organs like the eyes, the skin, the lungs, among other organs of the body. Thank you very much, Claire. Um, I think if we have somebody that wants to share something, please raise your hand. This could be your personal experience or what you've observed, and uh, tell us about how it made you feel and the recommendations for us to take to our communities. Thank you.
Hello,
Hello, Dr. Lubega. How are you?
fine, thank you.
Welcome to the call. Do you please introduce yourself, your description,
My
professional
name is
work,
uh,
and country? Yes.
my name is Dr. Ronald. I'm a medical doctor, a public health specialist in Uganda. I'm one of the people that stand with the lupus clients. I'm one of the people that allay anxieties, make people understand what lupus is, because it's clear not very many people understand lupus in our own country. Even the people that have it don't understand it. Now, when the people that don't understand it, have it, don't understand it, then you also look at the doctors. Also, most of the doctors don't understand it because it is dubbed as a rare disease in Uganda. So not a lot of emphasis and effort in terms of awareness, in terms of diagnosis and diagnostics, in terms of career, rather, I would say career development, as well as curriculum, putting emphasis on the curriculum so that lupus is taught so well or given enough time in the universities and institutions. So that is me in short. I wanted to really, you talked of experiences, anything, would wish to say. And the question is, the answer is yes, I should say a lot to say. I could speak for 10 hours if I'm speaking about lupus at the level of the client. Someone said they don't understand lupus. They've read about it, but still difficult to understand. I would say I will define it in short. I will not use medical terms, but for someone who has it, I hope they will really get me well. I'll build on what you've already said. It's an inflammatory disease that affects the body. Basically, we call it an autoimmune disease in medicine, but it means the
Okay, I think we are losing you. Um,
system of the body which is supposed to guard you against disease is actually, you have a coup in a country. You have a country, your own country. That is what happens in lupus. They sect almost every part of your body, from the hair to the toe. So, well, I'll just go to the other perception. What can we do about lupus? One, awareness creation, where we have community awareness sessions in schools, universities, even places of work like banks. Wherever people work from, they should know about lupus, that it exists. Many of you have lupus, or many of us that have lupus, Our bosses at work never understand it. They actually think you always fall sick to escape work. So I think our community awareness is needed. Of course, on the media, on the radios, you should be able to have focus group discussions in the community, talk about lupus. We should even be having foot soldiers in the community. Information that is unique to lupus amongst the medical workers. We have different cadres and different levels of medical workers. So I think we need to put emphasis on lupus at all levels. So that is the awareness creation. But then we also need to do capacity building, where we build the capacity of the medical workers through symposiums, through conferences, which are deliberate and focused on lupus. We have so many symposiums focusing on diabetes, on HIV, and all that. I think we need to do this for lupus as well. We need to build capacity of the medical workers through the continuous medical education, through continuous professional development sessions, such that we create enough awareness, even among the health workers, but also capacity building. But putting that alongside, we need to get the medicines for lupus. We need the expensive medicines, and actually the people that have lupus can't afford these medicines. They cannot, I repeat, they cannot afford these medicines. They're expensive, and you know you're gonna take them for a lifetime. So they really, even if you can afford in the first 1 year, you may not be able to afford in the next 5 years. So I think that is really important to the government or organization to bring about the diagnostics, which will help make a quick downside. And one of the things which is very bad is the biggest problem is the late diagnosis for lupus. You have your lupus, and it takes the medical workers 3 years to diagnose the lupus. By the time they see this is lupus, it is already so bad. So early diagnosis is really key in lupus treatment. What else is we need a holistic healthcare approach, whereby we have psychosocial counselors, we have trauma counselors, we have provision of testing services, community and hospitals following up on lupus clients. We need this, it's done for lupus clients free of charge. We need these test machines, the full blood counts, and the chemistry machines. And that is on the side of the holistic care approach. But then last but not least, we need advocacy for lupus. Networking for comprehensive advocacy. For example, having organizations which have lupus warriors, so that is client standing for client. We need these organizations. We need to advocate for inclusion and giving more ear to lupus disease. We need to
Okay,
have attorneys.
thank you very much. Maybe a quick question because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
And given the fact that you're an experienced doctor, I wanted to know the disability stigma that you have experienced and how it has affected the mental health outcomes of people with disabilities, specifically those with intellectual or developmental, physical, and mental health disabilities. In your experience, have they faced stigma, and how has it affected their health outcomes?
Okay.
You could choose any.
We need to understand that. We need to understand that one of the biggest factors that determines health outcomes is the mental health.
We are losing you. I think the connection isn't so good. Okay, I think because the connection isn't so good, I'm going to hear from Bukwena, from about your experience, because you're an executive of a social enterprise, local waste management. and also a social worker. So please kindly share with us your experience and on addressing disability stigma and how that has led to inclusive mental health outcomes, or actually share with us your recommendations. So the stigma that a person with disability face and how it can be addressed in your community so we can take it to our community. Thank you. If you have nothing to share, that's okay, but please feel free. You can always raise your arm and share as we wait for Dr. Vega, because I think the audio is still not working. I also have Blessing. Blessing, is there an experience you want to share or something you observed in society that concerning disability stigma? Please, you're welcome to share. I think for me personally, the one that I would like to share right now is the enslavement of people with um, mental health impairments, people with mental illnesses. The chaining, it's very common, and I don't know if you've witnessed it. It's something that we need to stop because there is this stigma towards people with mental health, especially in rural areas, for example, like in Uganda, where um, religious leaders, not only religious leaders, but also some of the cultural religious leaders that we have, think that having a mental illness is a sign of demonic possession or maybe ancestors that have taken control over this person with a mental illness. So they end up chaining them. And of course, this leads to the person um, being isolated, missing out on opportunities in life, and at the same time not living their lives fully because who lives a chained life? That's not good. Unfortunately, this not only affects people with mental health illnesses or impairments, but also people with physical disabilities that may not be chained. Of course, some are, but then others are simply denied opportunities because many people think that people who have physical um, disabilities are people who cannot succeed in school or have successful jobs. So, in my humble opinion, I really think that first of all, we need to change the language that we use when we are referring to people with disabilities, because we need to ask people with disabilities how we can refer to them. We need to put them or include them in every decision making that we make so that it's not just an obvious decision that we simply get from our previously biased information towards people with disabilities. We create a relationship with them um, that allows them to speak, to also share who they are. We have also talked about raising awareness about the disability stigma types that actually are against people with disabilities. That's important. So we need to educate people. We need to address stereotypes. Don't simply sit back and see somebody um, addressed in a negative manner or referred to in an unfair manner. Let us challenge all these um, discriminatory language and behaviors that are aimed or targeting people with disabilities. We need to support social inclusion. Please create opportunities for people with disabilities. That's important. We are part of the Bosch Alumni Network, but I think I haven't yet seen opportunities going out for people with disabilities. I think that's something we need to work on, Lindiwe, so that we can have many people within our alumni network accessing opportunities. People who are here should also be part of that network. Um, we need to see to it that there is more inclusion. We need to provide resources. The doctor has been talking about healthcare, which is very important. We need to have support groups. I don't know if um, um, people are okay with joining a support group after this. Um, we also need to talk about quality education for people with disabilities in our communities. We need to establish, um, if you can, schools, not schools that exclude people with disabilities. Like in Uganda, I know a school for um, students with a specific disability. We need to see to it that we include them in other schools with our students while addressing bullying, because that's another challenge that exists. Transportation, we also need inclusive policies that involve people with disabilities, that involve the participation of people with disabilities. Um, I wanted to also share with you a disability called epilepsy. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a common one. So it's actually common where somebody simply seizes and collapses on the ground, and people really normally fear it so much, but it's a disease, and people need to know about that. I don't know if you've experienced it, and many people who have this disease, unfortunately, are bullied. Many of these students, like in my primary school, were forced to leave school because they didn't have friends. Many had challenges with anxiety. So these are things that we need to fight. And for me personally, I wouldn't use my excuse of back in the day that maybe I was still young. I think we should teach our children to also respect people with disabilities. We need to create a culture within us and within our families that respects the rights of people with disabilities. Please, if you have anything to share, please feel free. Somebody is saying that the session needs to be extended. I know, true. Um, please, if you have any experience or if you've observed any type of um, disability stigma towards somebody within your community, a friend, or your own personal experience, please you can share. Feel free.
Hello, everyone. This is
And
Blessing Bjornan
God
again.
bless you. Yes, please feel free. Go ahead.
Uganda. Someone was asking me my country. It's Uganda. Um, me, I was diagnosed last year in Feb, but then way back I had got pleural effusion like in 2020, but then they didn't know the cause of it, so it was treated, and then I became fine. So last year, that's when things became worse and I got diagnosed. But of course, before that, I don't know, but I used to have those signs. I used to have fatigue at work, and like everyone would say, Blessing is lazy, Blessing, this Blessing doesn't want to work. But before that, like before, when I had just completed school, I was a very active person. So I was just wondering what is wrong with me because my boss used it to like me. I was the most active, but all of a sudden I started changing. I started like wanting to sleep the whole day. Even myself, I felt I was becoming so lazy. So when I was diagnosed, I was given a sick leave 1 month, 2 months. Like last year, I only worked for 3 months in a year. 3 months, then I went back to work like in November there. And of course, it affects me psychologically. I got depressed. I missed opportunities. Yeah, and some people will, of course, when you look at me, if I don't have edema, you think I'm very okay, I'm very fine. Because 1 minute I'm okay, I'm laughing. The next minute, I don't want to wake up. I'm just in bed. I don't want to do anything. So people like they would just judge me, and of course it would depress me. And being a firstborn, in my head I really wanted to work so hard. I'm the firstborn. I have to be an example in my family. But then with lupus, you can't do that. You can't work so hard. You need time to rest. Your body needs a lot of time to rest. So I just gave my time to I give my body enough time to rest these days. And a good thing anyway, my bosses understand me because I work in a health sector. I'm a midwife. So my bosses understand me. Though some of my workmates, they don't understand me. As we said, lupus, it's a rare disease. No one, like, even my workmates don't know about it. Even me, myself, I just came to know about it when I was diagnosed with lupus. I didn't know about it yet. I was even a health worker because I had never met anyone with lupus. And being a midwife, like, there are certain things we don't study. Some cases we don't study about them. We are always in female side, gynecology, those things. So other diseases, we are not always so serious about them. So then last month I was also at work. I had just worked for 2 months now. And all of a sudden, I got sick again. I got a high blood pressure. I was admitted again. But now I'm getting better. But really, lupus can stress. It can give you depression. You can get depressed. And again, when you come like from a family that overprays, so they start telling you, you're not praying, God can cure everything, God can do this. And then on my heart, I know it's chronic. I know it won't even heal. So those people, they even stress me so much. They stress me so much, telling me, but I don't pray. I'm not praying enough. Maybe I'm a sinner. They start judging you. The public can judge, or maybe they start saying it's a curse, maybe from your parents, maybe from yourself. Those things. For me, those are the challenges I'm facing. Thank you.
Thank you, Blessing. Thank you very much. We do have some new participants. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but I would be more than happy to let them share something about themselves. That is Pius and Gloria. So maybe start with Pius. Please share with us your name, your description. Description, I mean your appearance. That's your, for example, face. Are your eyes brown or blue? You could also share with us what you're wearing, and then your clothes and shirt. Yes, and Martha shares something very important with Blessing, that get well soon. Blessing, our prayers are with you, and thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. Pius, please share with us something about yourself.
Yeah. Hello. Do you get me?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Okay. My name is Pius Chomukama. I'm proud to be a warrior because I've found family now, like another family, where I'm able to, to share with people who are going through the same thing. I was diagnosed. I'm in Uganda. Yeah, that's it. I'm in Uganda. I was diagnosed early last year, and I was hearing lupus for the first time. Maybe to take you back, um, I had a heart attack in 2023 September, and I had to be rushed to the Heart Institute and have stents put into my heart. I was in ICU for a whole month, and the cardiologists now tried to look at the risk factors. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't. So they were puzzled on what exactly could have I don't have diabetes. You know, so I'm not hypertensive. So we are trying to look out for the risk factors, until one of the heads actually suggested the lupus test, and that is when I did it, and it was found out that actually I have lupus. Now it's a struggle. It's a struggle because now when I look back, I realize this is something I've had over time. But because of lack of knowledge about it, I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't know. So I always asked myself, why do I get tired so much? Why do I wake up some days I'm lazy? Why do I really want to go and maybe take a nap during the day? You know? But then what helped me is that I'm self-employed. So for some reason, when I would feel like taking a nap, I would just, close up everything and go and take a nap. But lupus is dangerous. Lupus is dangerous because you get these pains. Like lupus is one thing where in the morning you are admitted, and in the afternoon you're playing football. So to the communities that you may be staying with, it's so confusing. You will come off as someone who is lazy. You might come up as someone who doesn't care. Um, it's you really need people that really understand you. And for me, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. My wife is my support system. So she really understands my situation, and yeah, she knows I can act anyway, you know, depending on the circumstances, and it's acceptable. So one thing I've realized about lupus is that you always need a very good support system. You always need you need to educate the people around you. I think for me, fighting the stigma now, what I've done is to make sure that I educate the people. Sometimes what I realize with some of these health issues is that people have questions, but you can read the questions in their eyes, but they fear asking those questions. So what I always do is that I answer the questions before they are asked. So I make sure that I bombard them with the lupus knowledge that I have, tell them about it, tell them how it's important to go and check themselves, tell them. So at the end of the conversation, you realize that they've kind of calmed down. They are taking time now to go and find out more about lupus, and also realize that it's not contagious. Like it's not, you don't really need to kind of like feel you need to sit away from this person or stay away from this person. So for me, that's one of the ways I've tried to fight the stigma. But believe me, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. In our traditional setup, lots of people will tell you you're bewitched. Lots of people will tell you that's the problem of your auntie, that's the problem of what. And like Blessing said, I think one of the things that piss me off is when people have to attribute it to lack of prayer. Like you don't pray over things. I mean, you just get pissed because deep within you, you know you're doing your best. But there will always be one or two people who really think you're not doing enough. But I think we have an assignment of making this so public, and I love this initiative you've really put up. I wish we can now have this as a program that goes out to mass media, where we are able to share our experiences and let people know about this. I promise you there is millions of people out there who are lupus, but they may not know, and they may not ever know. So I think we need to sensitize, and the more we sensitize people, I'm sure the more we shall be accepted and, not stigmatized. Yeah. So basically that is it. that is it. I think I need to give chance to other people, but just in case there's yes, sir. Just in
Thank
case
you.
there is maybe hello.
It's okay. Thank you very much. Maybe you
You're
could just give
welcome.
us your description. Had you talked about your description? Your appearance, your eyes, are they blue? Basically, talk about yourself, the clothes you're wearing, the color. For some of our friends who may not be able who, um, to see you.
Oh, really? And now in the description, I don't know. Please highlight for me what exactly
Uh, your
I should.
your skin color. You could tell us about your hair. Like for me, I'm a bald man. Um, you could also say I'm wearing a blue shirt. Yeah, to give somebody an
Oh,
image of how you appear. Yes.
oh, okay, okay. I wear specs. I still have my hair on, but there are signs that a bald head is coming. Yeah, there are signs that a bald head is coming. Um, I'm wearing a cream t-shirt, black jeans. Um, I'm photosensitive, so I prefer to keep myself out of the sun, the direct sunlight. So so that is why my skin color is this dark. So what is funny is that the parts that my shirts cover, that my clothes cover, are very light, and the parts that are not covered are really dark. Yeah, but it's because of the photosensitivity. Yeah, and yeah, I've found ways of trying to fight it, mm,
Okay.
to live with
Thank
it. Mm.
Thank you, Pius. So photosensitivity means that um, maybe you could tell us more about photosensitivity. I think it's you are sensitive to the sun's rays, right? And ultraviolet
Yes,
rays,
yes,
including
yes,
fluorescent lights. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
yes. All right,
Um,
yeah.
Gloria, Leka, please could you
Yes.
share with us your name, description, profession and work, country, and maybe a disability stigma that you've observed in your community, and maybe a recommendation. We shall close this session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for having me, Derek, and the team. I hope you're getting me. Are you
Yes,
getting me?
you're clear. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much again. My name is Achiro Gloria. I am based in Kampala, Uganda, but right now, as I speak, I am in Gulu in northern Uganda. I have come to Gulu to see my mom, who is over here. I am a journalist by profession, and right now I am wearing a purple top with a skirt which is dotted purple and white skirt. It's dark already here. It's already dark, threatening to like rain. So it's dark, and the room where I'm speaking from, it is dark. My disability, which I'm talking about it for the first time actually, I had developed eye problem. That's about 9 years ago. I grew up a young lady, a young girl, healthy, and to a woman, to a grown-up woman, healthy until 9 years ago when I started having cloudy eye, something cloudy on my iris, and it turned out to be cataract. So I delayed. I couldn't raise the money to my family could not support me because they could not afford to go early for surgery. So by the time I was taken for the first surgery, it was almost late, but nevertheless, they did the first surgery successfully. Then when they moved, when I was now released to get, healed, to go back and heal in about 3 years like that, before I could finish the 3 second, I started.
You accidentally unmuted. Gloria, you need to unmute yourself. Lindy, can we unmute Gloria? I think she accidentally unmuted herself.
Hello?
Hello? Yes, you had
Hello?
unmuted. Yes, you had muted
Oh,
yourself.
I,
Yeah,
oh, I'm so sorry. My eye can't see very well. So
it's
anyway,
it,
my
it's
apologies.
okay. We
So
stopped at
yeah,
cloudy eyes, and after you had been diagnosed. Yes,
say again.
we last had you when you had mentioned cloudy eyes and the diagnosis that you had got. Mm.
Yes.
Okay, again, you muted yourself. You need to unmute.
Oh my God. Hello?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry again. So before I could heal, the second eye started getting cloudy. And now the first surgery took like about over 16 million Uganda shillings, which was also a struggle to get. Now the second surgery, the second eye was now more complicated that needed even more money than that. So I had to live with it like that until now. I'm still like that. Hopefully, maybe one time, my family and my friends will raise that money. So, how has my life been? It has been challenging, from a successful and very energetic journalist who was covering war and the peace process in northern Uganda to a struggling journalist. At the first 5 years when I developed this problem, it was challenging because I wasn't used to any. I used to fall. People would look at me bad. It kind of like affected me so much that the first surgery, that side of I have big eyes, and that side of the eye became smaller after the surgery. So like this girl with beautiful big eyes, and now they're seeing you with small eyes, lot of stigma, people talk. So the first 5 years was hard because I had not yet accepted and I didn't know the steps. I couldn't work. My performance was affected. And my two friends have talked about stigma or people asking you or your parents or your family saying you don't pray. Oh, this is a curse. I have had that already. Someone can just say, oh, this one you've been bewitched, you know, all sort of negative words. So that all those years I avoided people. I don't go for funerals. I don't go for weddings. I think the last wedding, one of the last wedding I attended was my personal wedding. When my husband realized I was getting this problem, he said, let us wait. So we went and waited. He stood there with me. It was like Pius was saying, his wife has been his strength. I think also my husband and my children, because my children, when I'm walking with them and they see a stone, something they know I step on, I can fall, they kick with their leg. There's one girl, my youngest daughter is 16, she can even carry with her hand and throw so that mommy can pass. Then my husband, when he's walking, he put his leg one step up, one step down, showing to me I should be careful. There's a step. He kind of balance one leg up, he leaves one leg down. So I know he's warning me because I don't use a stick. I don't, but they also don't want me to use because it's also stigmatizing. So they help me around. But most of the time, I do my work from home. I don't move anyhow because of those 5 years of falling every now and then falling. They're trying to send a WhatsApp message, to send wrong message to a wrong contact because I had not yet gotten used to. But as time went on, with the support of my family and my children, I started picking up my pieces slowly. I started writing again. I just got used to. I started accepting while looking for solutions. How can I get treated? So what has made me strong, or what has made me overcome, it is my children, my family. However, when someone will ask me, normally they ask the same question Pius was talking about, what happened? I don't wait to see in their eyes to respond. I just always, when they ask me such a question, I know sometimes I say, don't you have someone with such a problem in your family? Am I the first person? So to me, accepting I'm not the first person was already enough for me, because I realized even when I explain, it's just terrible. They interpret in their own ways. But sometimes when someone is asking me, just last night when I arrived in Bulo, a girl who came and brought for me food, and I'm doing some work besides seeing my mom. I'm also doing some work, personal development. So she brought for me food where I'm sleeping in a hotel this time, and she was asking me, Auntie, I really sympathize with you. I said, why? Why do you sympathize with me? You don't have to, because if you said such a word, I also feel bad. I want you to encourage me and tell me, Auntie, you are okay, and Auntie, you can make it. I asked her, don't you see my laptop is on and I'm replying emails, I'm sending my ECVs, I'm doing what? And I told her, did you see my page last week? And she said, yes. I said, okay, where was I updating my social media from? She said, you were in Bunyoro. I said, what was I doing there? She said, you were training. And indeed, after the 5 years of being down, I slowly started learning my steps, mastering my house. There's a corner I see. Only that cloudiness make it a little bit, covers my eye a bit. But I see I don't use a stick. But after gaining and learning my step, I went back into writing and training. So I told her, was I training with a stick? I asked her, was I training with a stick? She said, no. Did you see someone holding me while training? She said, no. Then I said, that is now the entry point to encourage me that, Auntie, you can do it beside your situation. So don't sympathize with me, and I can do it. So I had to tell her to counsel myself, because sometimes people go on and on and on, and just their words are enough for you to break down. Like you see your age mates are healthy, they have their eyes intact. Like you are like in a wheelchair, maybe someone is in a wheelchair, and then you see that your friends are walking. So I am picking up my pieces. I know God willing, I will get the second surgery again. And when I saw this post, I'm a Bosch alumni, by the way, together with Derek. So when I saw this post, I said, oh, I have to attend. And indeed, today is the first time I'm speaking about my disability. It is not an inability to me. It is not a disability to me, but it is an inability. I'm able to do things my daughter always, I have another daughter at the university. She's always telling her friends, my mom has eye problem. But when you see what my mom does, you just wonder. Because I decided to overcome the stigma, I decided to accept, I decided to manage, I decided to move on. And I'm working hard so that I can go for the second surgery. So that is how my life has been. But I am very strong because I know I'm not the first person. And to my colleagues, I joined late, my friends, my brothers and sisters. I joined late. I didn't hear many stories. I only listened to the second last and the last person. But I want to say this, let us be strong, we support each other, and we will overcome the situation we are facing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for sharing with us your story and for encouraging us to be strong. Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you to all of our friends who attended this call and shared their amazing stories, however difficult they may be. Um, we really do appreciate what you're doing in your communities. Pius said that he's raising awareness, doesn't need, it doesn't wait for people to ask him questions. He immediately raises awareness about lupus. Thank you all. I think I think we can close the session with Gloria's conclusion. Other than that, unless somebody wants to say something, because of the time that we have lost, I think we are now 1 hour. We are 30 minutes past the 1 hour. I would kindly ask you all to say goodbye to us, or maybe thank you in your language, wherever you are. And thank you very much for attending. See you soon.
Yeah, it's Pius here again. Thank you so much for this initiative, and I think we should have more of this. We are a very small community. We are a minority group that needs to bind together. I think let's have more of such sessions. The encouragement is very, very good. To be honest with you, I think for the time I've joined this, like since I joined the group, I've felt more confident. I've felt more confident because sometimes I look at people's stories and I'm like, wow, now maybe I'm a little fine. I shouldn't complain a lot. So I think the kind of encouragement that we get here is very promising. Please keep doing this once in a while so that we can keep in touch. We can keep in touch and share ideas. Sometimes there's new information that comes up, and it's always very good to share. For example, as I conclude, recently my cardiologists were telling me lupus's first targets usually, the organs, the organs, and I have now been encouraging people, it's not only the heart, but the liver, the kidneys, and all that. So it's very important for those that have the ability to always check out these ones as well, how they are doing in your body, how they are faring. Yeah, because it's a fight that is on, eh? It's a fight that is on. You can't say you did maybe a test 2 years ago and it's enough. Thank you so much, colleagues, and it's been nice catching up with you.
Thank you, Pius. We are going to start meeting every Friday. I'm going to share a place. We have already finished setting up the office so that we can have continuous support groups for people with lupus in Uganda. And then Gloria, we have actually established a people with disabilities group on the Bosch alumni network. I would humbly ask you to join it so that we can also discuss more about our disabilities. Pius, I don't know if that helps.
Yes,
Okay,
it helps. Thank you so much. Thank you.
okay, okay, great, great. Everyone, thank you for your comment. Thank you for joining us kindly. And I hope you have a great evening, a great day, and bye bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you very
Bye.
much.
Thank you too.